Orange County inventory is climbing and it is outpacing demand. So this market is definitely changing. Let's take a look today. I'm Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate in the Odell Group. We're going to look at the Tustin stats today as well as Orange County. So let's get to our first slide. So let's look at the active listing inventory right now, 4,468 homes. It is up from 4,186 just 2 weeks ago. So that's almost 300 homes more, right? Last year, we were only at 2,470. That is a lot more homes, 2,000 more homes for buyers to choose from. So let's see what the buyers are doing right now on the next slide, which is the demand. And if we look at the demand is exactly what it was 2 weeks ago. It hasn't changed. It's just flatlined at 1,546 homes, which is down about 200 homes from last year. So think about that. We are down 200 homes on demand from last year, and we're up 2,000 homes in inventory. Next, we're going to move to the Orange County expected marketing time because that comes as a byproduct of supply and demand, right? So the market speeds up and it slows down based on demand relative to the inventory. And where we are right now is on that red line. And if we look at that red line, we're at 87 days. 2 weeks ago, we were at 81 days. And last year, we were at 42 days. So we have a market that's moving at half the speed of last year, right? And our 3-year average is 68 days. So we've actually gone past our 3-year average. And I should say that's the 3-year average prior to COVID, which was what we are calling kind of a normal market back then, right? So we're actually slower than the 3-year average. So that's interesting. Okay, so as always, we want to look at supply and demand relative to the price range it's in, right? So let's look at where your price range is on this chart. You might want to freeze it. But what we're seeing is we're still seeing a slight seller's market all the way up to 1.5 million. If you guys remember, we used to have a hot seller's market, all the way probably up to $2 million. So this market is definitely changing, okay? So we have a slight seller's market up to about $1.5 million. We have a balanced market in 2 price categories now, which we didn't have before either. So this is also a byproduct of things slowing down a little bit, right? So between 1.5 and 2.5 now, it's a balanced market. And then over 2.5, it's slipping into a deep buyer's market. Now, does that just mean you can have your choice of anything? If you guys know, like I do, there's overpriced houses out there and, there's only so many good ones. So the good ones are still selling fairly quickly. We'll talk more about that later. But in the meantime, let's go to the next slide, which is for the Tustin data. Now, we do this Tustin data because probably 40% of our business is in the Tustin areas. So we like to keep the Tustin people informed, and we can do this for any area that you guys call us on. So looking what's for sale, we can see that there's actually much more for sale in all of the zip codes than there was last year. And if we look at new listings just in the last 30 days, you can see those are down a little bit, which means we have a lot of standing inventory, right? Things aren't selling. That's why the inventory is up, but new listings are down, right? That means things are not selling. Inventory is growing. And if we look at what's sold, you can see it's not up in any of those zip codes. It's either even or down. And then when we look at pendings. Now, what's the difference between pendings and solds? Okay, pendings are what's just going into escrow. Solds are what has closed escrow in the month, right? So now when we look at what's going into escrow, 'tis the season, people are buying, right? So we can see that things are going into escrow. So you can see how this data just changes like month to month, right? Months of inventory, less than 2.4 months inventory in every zip code. That is still not a whole lot of inventory relative to what we would term a buyer's market, which happens at 5 to 6 months of inventory. So if you look at Tustin as a whole, it's doing a lot better than Orange County. It really is. And if you look at average active price and average sold price, you can compare those with last year. And you can see that we're starting to get a little bit off of the price here, right? I mean, 99 versus 100, right? I mean, things were selling and getting bid up, but you're starting to see that that's going away in the highest price range, which is 92705. And we're still getting that going on in 92780 and 92782. So what this is telling us is that the homes that come on the market priced right, they're jumping off the market right away. They're still getting multiple bids and they're getting bid up a little bit, okay? And we're seeing that in our own business, which we will talk about The last slide I want to show you, it's a specialized slide because this market, having been in this business for 35 years, I just cannot believe how few people are willing to sell their houses right now. I mean, yes, we have more people than last year, but we are still below normal. And so if we look at this chart and we look at Orange County, it's kind of interesting. The turnover rate in Orange County is 2.8%. Okay, that means that people are staying in their homes in Orange County for 35 years. And you can see how the different counties compare. And you can see for all of Southern California, people are staying in their houses 33 years. I mean, for most people, that might be 2 houses in a lifetime, right? If they do that. So still not a whole lot of opportunity relative to the population and the number of homes that we have here. The norm used to be, when I first came in the business, we used to always say the turnover rate was 7%. So you can see that, it's less than half that now. So moving forward, I'm going to give you my advice to buyers and sellers, and we'll do that right now. Okay, guys, well, things are changing. More inventory, demand staying the same. It's getting better and better for buyers out there. It really is. But there are still a lot of buyers out there. Trust me, buyers. We have listings, and we know when we put them on, there's all kinds of showings, and these people have to be pre-qualified and pre-approved a lot of times in these listings. And there are people just sitting on money out there. They're just waiting for the right opportunity. And when a house does come on that's priced attractively, it will definitely be in escrow within 2 to 3 weeks, probably, So I think I told you on the last show, we still had 80% of the homes that were coming on the market going in within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's still a fast moving market for the sellers that are willing to price properly. And sellers, the best advice I can give you is to price properly when you come out of the chute. Because if you don't, you're going to end up having to reduce the price. In the buyer's mind, they don't understand why nobody else has bought it. Why are they the only interested person? They're going to want to offer you less, right? So pricing that property up front and having it priced properly is super important. I tell my agents when they go out on listings, and I try to do this with my own listings as well, you got to be in a price category, you got to be in the top 2, maybe top 3 in terms of value and pricing. So hopefully, you and your agent can come together on that. Or if you don't have an agent, well, guess who you should call, right? Okay. We've been doing this for a long time. We get our listings sold. We don't have expired listings. Our listings pretty much all sell. I can't remember the last time we had an expired listing, quite honestly. So if you want the right advice, if you want to get your house sold, give us a call. We'll get that thing ready for you. We'll have it looking good, not only online, but inside. We do all the rehab and the staging. We do everything you've ever read about. There's nothing that different out there except for the fact that we do it at a very high level. We have somebody that spearheads that for the team. And she's worked for me for 15 years now and has done hundreds and hundreds of homes. So our process is very smooth. Our contractors know how to work with us. They perform on time. So if that sounds attractive to you, along with perhaps staging, then give us a call. Of course, we'd be glad to just list your house and not have to do any of that stuff. So it's all up to you. You are the seller, and we're going to design a program custom tailored for what you want. And just finally, buyers, congratulations. You finally can be confident that there's going to be other listings coming on the market, right? That was the big problem. Nobody ever knew when there was going to be another listing. Will there be another listing? Well, we're past that stage, right? So happy house hunting out there. If we can help you out, let us know. We've sold a lot of buyers this year. Our buyers have been waiting for a long time to be able to have some inventory to choose from, and they are very happy right now. So we'll see you later on the next Tustin Talks. Bye-bye.